Hi everyone, my name is Barbara. Welcome to my channel, Write in the Woods, where I share my love of journaling, especially therapeutic or insight journaling, and stationery. So today's session is going to be more of an insight journaling idea, but I'm a retired therapist and a former creative memories consultant and many other things, but it probably explains my love of insight journaling and stickers. So if you have some of the same loves, I hope you consider subscribing and following along. Or I'm new, so maybe bumbling along with me, but I promise to give you good content. So today I'd like to share some ideas about moon journaling. I do teach a journal session once a month via Zoom, and it's live, or you can get the recording of it. And one of my participants was curious about moon journaling. Now, I'm not an astrologer or into astrology. I just have a big curiosity about moon and moon energies because I do believe there's a lot of energies in the moons, and it's just kind of my appreciation, acknowledgement of nature and time in that way, seasons and such. All right, so I have 3 ideas I'm going to share with you about moon journaling, and I have done these practices myself over the years, but the third one is the one I am currently doing. So the first one is going and finding the energetic qualities of each full moon and new moon. Usually there's a name associated with full moons, and the new moons are usually associated with a birth sign. Okay, so like Capricorn or Sagittarius or Aries. And then there's qualities that go along with each of those as well. So I found this particular one for the 2026 online. I just Googled full moon and new moon dates for 2026. Then I looked under the images, and I usually look for something that has more information than just the name and the date of the moon, so that you can see some of the qualities that go along with them. For example, our next full moon is May 31st, and it's a blue moon, which is rare, once in a blue moon. And the energetic qualities are second chances. It says changes here, but I'm sure they meant chances, opportunities, and closure. So what I would do with these is take it and make questions out of them to answer for myself. So I might ask myself, who needs a second chance in my life? Where do I need a second chance? For opportunities, I might ask what opportunities are presenting themselves to me at this time. For closure, where do I need some closure? So just making up questions around these energetic qualities of these particular full moons and new moons. Let's just look at the next new moon, which is June 14th, a new moon in Gemini. And the activities or energetic qualities are communication, learning, and connection. So again, I might ask myself, what is it that I'd like to learn this month or this moon cycle? And connection. So who do I need to reconnect with this month? So again, you can find these kind of things online. If you are a journal participant and on my email list, I will have sent these to you. So if you would like to have these, you can comment below and I will get your email and send these to you. All right. Second way to journal for new moons and full moons is through a series of questions. So the new moon has a quality all of its own, not just because of what sign it might come in or what the name of the moon is, but so for new moons, it's usually a calling in or manifesting. Those are the 2 energetic qualities of new moons. So it's a time to acknowledge dreams, intentions, projects, visions, needs, and desires. and to call them in, to manifest them in. So some questions that you can ask yourself are, and these are pretty easy, they're fill in the blank kind of questions. I would like to bring more blank into my life. I would like to bring more blank into my life. What would you like to bring more of in your life, especially at this time that you are journaling, at this new moon? Question number 2 goes along with number 1. It says, I can do that by what action? So I can bring more of whatever it is you've put in the first question. I can do that by what? I can bring more of that in how? 3, I need blank. And you can fill this in as many times as you want. Just make a list. I need blank. What do you need? Especially at this particular moment during this new moon phase. 4 goes along with 3. I can meet that need by, again, an action. I can meet that need by, how can you do that? 5, what project or idea is calling me? At this particular time, what project or idea is calling me? And number 6 goes with number 5. What are 1 to 3 steps to do towards number 5? What 1 to 3 steps could I do towards number 5? So towards that project or idea that is calling you. It's very action oriented. All right, so that's the new moon questions. Now, if you want to take this a little further, at the end of all your journaling of this, you can write, I am calling in what? Now, it can be something that you've written already from your questions, or it can be some kind of general overall feeling that you have of something you need to call in for all of that to manifest. So I am calling in what? Write it 3 times. Then close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and say that to yourself 3 times. I am calling in peace. I am calling in peace. I am calling in peace. So this is a practice called Sankalpa. It's a yogic practice. I also used to be a yogic teacher. So, and the idea is that it drops into your heart, goes out into the universe, and it's a manifesting practice. So questions for the full moon. The energetic quality of a full moon is to reflect and release. We look at what came into your life since the new moon and have a think about what felt good and what didn't. All right, so reflecting. And the intention here is that we align our energy with what is good for ourselves. We are aligning our energy with what is good for ourselves when we look at this, when we reflect. And then there's some releasing to do, which you'll see here. So the questions for the full moon are, what did I welcome in, or what came into my life? Because sometimes stuff comes and we don't particularly welcome it, but it comes anyways. Since the new moon, what did I welcome in, or what came into my life since the new moon? Like, actually, you could do this from full moon to full moon as well for like the entire month. So full moons are almost a monthly 4-week kind of thing. There's generally 14 to 16 days between a new moon and a full moon, and it switches. So you can do it from moon to moon, full moon to full moon, or new moon to new moon. But, or you can just do it for the last 2 weeks, so to speak. So again, question 1, what did I welcome in, or what came into my life since the new moon? Just a list. Number 2 goes with number 1. So I noticed that blank made me feel blank. So whatever you welcomed in, take one at a time. I noticed that going to that party made me feel uncomfortable. Okay, something like that. I noticed that blank made me feel blank. And do it for each item that you welcomed in or that came into your life since the moon, the full moon or the new moon. Again, your choice. You can do it for a month or 2 weeks. Number 3, this full moon, I am feeling what? This full moon, I am feeling what? Again, it can be one thing, can be the main thing you're feeling, could be a couple things. Just write that out. Number 4, I surrender. All right. I surrender what? What is it you feel like at this point right now you need to surrender? 5. I desire, dream, or need what? I desire, dream, or need what? Again, it can be a list or just the main thing. What's the biggest thing you need right now? What's the biggest thing you desire right now? It can be one or a few. And 6 goes with 5. I can release blank to get closer to whatever it is that you've written for your desire, dream, or need. I can release what? To get closer to number 5. Let's just talk a little bit about letting go, releasing, and surrendering, because they all sound like they're the same thing and they're very similar but different. So let's talk about letting go and think about it in pictures. So if you think about letting go, I often think about, at least for me in pictures, holding on to something and then letting it go, like dropping it, holding it, dropping it, letting it go. Surrender, when I think of this word, I think about people who are fighting and somebody waves the white flag and they kind of not generally give up, they just surrender. They let go for more peace, let's say. They give up for more peace. So surrender is a warring and a stopping. Okay, waving the white flag. Releasing, I think of this like somebody's in jail and the door to the jail got open and they got released from jail. Something that's been locked away that gets released. You unlock the door and release it. All right, so this will help for the next question, the next thing here. So after you do your questions, at the end of your journaling, you can write, I release what? Again, it can be something you've already written down, or it can be a general sense. And this is a release. It's something that's been locked away. So what can you let out of jail at this moment that probably would help you with everything else that you have put down on your list from your questions? Write it 3 times. I release, I release, I release. Then do the same Sankalpa exercise. Close your eyes. 3 deep breaths. Say this to yourself out loud 3 times. Again, sending it into your heart. Letting it out into the universe. All right, so that's another new moon and full moon practice that you can do in your journal. The Sojan practice, which is the third one, is the one that I am active in right now. And I see something that's misspelled. Okay, bumbling through. All right, Sojan practice. This is another Buddhist practice or yogic practice. I am not a Buddhist, but I love the yogic practices. So generally this is done every 2 weeks. And again, new moon, between new moon and full moon, there's generally 14 to 16 days. So that's pretty much 2 weeks. So it's just a good time frame to know when to do this practice. Sometimes this practice is done verbally live with other people, but writing is good too. And you might see how this might be a little, I don't want to say difficult, but a challenge to do it with people live. Because what you were doing is acknowledging as completely and compassionately as you can all actions or words that you have regretted from the last 2 weeks. Acknowledging as completely and compassionately as you can all actions or words that you regret from the last 2 weeks. So I think one of the key words here is compassionately. This is not done to beat yourself up. This is done for insight. Again, this is a big insight awareness practice. Now, when you first start doing this, a lot of stuff might come up from the past. Go ahead and write that down as well. Anything that you've regretted, words or actions, write it down completely and with compassion. Don't beat yourself up. Then, if there's an amends to be made, and sometimes there's not, sometimes it wouldn't even be worth it, but if there's an amends to be made, then do that if needed. And it could be amends to yourself. Maybe just forgiving yourself for having done that or whatever. The next thing to do is maybe, but I highly recommend this, delve deeper to understand where that action or response came from. Was it a trigger? Does it remind you of something in your past? Generally, triggers are a defense mechanism. Somehow we've gotten scared and we react often in ways that we don't particularly like because we've gotten scared or triggered by something that usually has been learned from past. Like it served us before, doesn't serve us anymore. Generally, if we feel bad about it, it's one of those things. So delve deeper to understand where that action or response came from. Now, once you've done all this, you've acknowledged, you make amends if needed, you delve deeper to understand what was really going on with yourself, then let it go. Because a lot of times when we've done something that we have regretted, either in action or in words, we can ruminate on it, or it comes up. Something will remind us and it comes up again and we start feeling bad about it. But remind yourself you've already done it. You've already acknowledged, you already made your amends or done whatever needed to be done to make it more peaceful. You've looked at why that happens. Go ahead and let it go. It can be something that about what you've done, or it can be about another person. If you've forgiven them, remember that you've done the work and let it go. This is a big practice. So what does this do, this Sojong practice? Well, we do it so nothing hasn't been faced or let go when we come to the end of our life. There is something that makes our life more peaceful, the transition easier for us to go on or not go on, depending on what you believe. At the end of our life, if we have dealt with everything that we have regretted, so do it so nothing hasn't been faced and let go. The other reason is to love better. And this is a quote. I don't know who said it. It's not me. I did not say this, but I love this quote. My purpose is to learn to love through all that is handed me in this life. My purpose is to learn to love through all that is handed me in life. So first of all, if we can do that practice with compassion, that's a part of love. If we can start showing compassion to ourselves when we do things that aren't so great, that actually transmits to other people as well. So we become more compassionate. We actually become more loving. The other thing is, if we learn why we've reacted to something the way we did, it often will decrease it. Actually, just acknowledging it often decreases it. But we can, if the same kind of situation or that same trigger is activated again, we often can pause and choose more skillfully the next time. And that's a more loving action. So, my purpose is to learn to love through all that is handed me in this life. Maybe everything is to teach us to love. All right, so there you go. There are 3 ways that you can practice some insight journaling during new moons and full moons. Now, you might have some practices. I would love to hear them. Your comments are welcome, and your sharing is welcome. Maybe you have a ritual that you do every new moon or full moon. That would be fun to hear about. So if you have any questions, please also write them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them. If you want to know more about the journal sessions that are live every month, let me know. I'll probably have to ask you for your email, and so I can put you on the list for that information when they're happening. And if this was helpful, maybe you could give it a thumbs up. That would really help me, and follow along. I hope you enjoyed this. May you be peaceful, may you be healthy, and may you either journal or be creative today. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.